Good morning, my dear students. Hope everybody is fine at your side. Myself, Dr. Naimullah Sharif, Department of Biology. I am going to deal some of the second year PUC topics for this academic year. To start with, the molecular basis of inheritance, the chapter number 6 in your syllabus. This chapter deals with inheritance. Inheritance is nothing but the transfer of characters from the parents to their offsprings. If we examine ourselves, we can find the number of characters what we have received from our parents. This topic deals with this inheritance, the molecule which is responsible for inheritance. Let me go back to your first year PUC, one of the topic called biomolecule. In this chapter, we have come across about the number of biomolecules present inside the cell, like carbohydrates, proteins, nucleic acids, enzymes, etc. Of course, you have well studied under biomolecule chapter about the nucleic acid. The nucleic acid topic is continued in this chapter. In this chapter, we are going to understand the molecule which is responsible for inheritance of the characters from parents to their offsprings. It is observed that for a long period of time, the scientists have believed that there is a major molecule called protein is acting as in genetic material, but later, because of various experimental work, it was observed that it is not the protein, it is the nucleic acid which is acting as in genetic material. In this chapter, we are going to understand about nucleic acid, what is nucleic acid, how it is made up of, what are the contents present in it, and how it will work, and how it will allow the cell to perform all the metabolic activities. In detail, study about the nucleic acid is going to discuss in these classes called the molecular basis of inheritance. Let me start the topic with this brief introduction. Nucleic acid is one of the major biomolecule present inside the nucleus as well as in the cytoplasm of both prokaryotic as well as eukaryotic cell. And it is the nucleic acid which is involving in transferring or inheriting the characters from the parents to their offsprings. It was first time observed by Friedrich Mischer. Friedrich Mischer identified some chemical molecule or isolated some chemical molecule from the pus cells, and he observed that chemical content was present inside the nucleus, and he named as nuclein. He named that chemical as a nuclein. Later, the number of scientists observed this chemical molecule which is having acidic property. One such scientist by name Altmann observed that the chemical present inside the nucleus, which has been observed by Mischer, is having an acidic property, and later Altmann named this as nucleic acid. This nucleic acid, because of this acidic property, it is called acid, and nucleic because it is present inside the nucleus. It is observed that there are two different types of nucleic acid. One is the deoxyribonucleic acid, deoxyribonucleic acid, and another ribonucleic acid. These are the two major molecules acting as in genetic material in most of the organism. In almost all the organisms, DNA is acting as in genetic material except few viruses, where the viruses are having genetic material in the form of an ribonucleic acid. Of course, there are a number of reports that few viruses are also having DNA as their genetic material. Overall, almost all the organism possesses DNA as their genetic material. DNA, we are going to discuss about what is DNA and what is RNA in detail first. Deoxyribonucleic acid, commonly called DNA. This deoxyribonucleic acid or DNA, which is the macromolecule made up of the fundamental unit called nucleotide. The fundamental monomeric unit of deoxyribonucleic acid is nucleotide, and in a DNA we have several nucleotides which has been attached to one another or linked with one another to form a long chain called polynucleotide chain. DNA or RNA is made up of the long chain of nucleotide called polynucleotide chain. Polynucleotide chain is made up of several nucleotides. As we know, the nucleotide is a monomeric unit of nucleic acid. Basically, the nucleotide made up of three components. They are pentose sugar, then phosphate, then third one, nitrogen bases. Let me discuss one by one. Pentose sugar present in DNA is derived from ribose sugar C5H10O5. This is the normal pentose sugar called ribose sugar. It is derived from this ribose sugar having one less oxygen at second carbon. So the pentose sugar present in DNA is C5H10O4, where one oxygen is less at second carbon position. This pentose sugar is linking with the other components to form the nucleotide. The second component is phosphate, which is derived from phosphoric acid H3PO4, which is responsible for acidic nature to the nucleic acid. The nucleic acid is acidic because of the presence of phosphoric acid, that phosphate which gives acidic nature to this molecule. Whereas the third component is nitrogen bases. The nitrogen bases are derived from aromatic benzene ring, which is of two different types. These nitrogen bases, as they derive from aromatic benzene ring, they are playing a very important role to form the nucleotide. There are two types of nitrogen bases. One is purines, which are derived from double benzene ring, and they are larger when compared to pyrimidines. And these purines are of two different types, adenine and guanine, commonly abbreviated as capital A, capital G. These two nitrogen bases called purines are larger molecules because they derive from double benzene ring, and these purines always will going to combine with the next group of nitrogen bases called pyrimidines. Pyrimidines are smaller when compared to purines because they are derived from single benzene ring, and as a result they are derived from single benzene ring, they are smaller than purines. Similarly, similar to that of purines, pyrimidines are also of different types like cytosine, thymine and uracil. Cytosine is abbreviated as capital C, thymine is abbreviated as capital T, uracil is abbreviated as capital U. These are the nitrogen bases present in the nucleic acid. As we are discussing about the DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid, in deoxyribonucleic acid called DNA, we have two purines, adenine, guanine, and two pyrimidines, cytosine and thymine. Whereas uracil is present only in case of RNA. It is absent in case of DNA and it is present in case of RNA, and in RNA thymine is absent. In the place of thymine, uracil is going to place. These nitrogen bases are going to link with each component to form a structure called nucleotide. How it will link, we will discuss in the next part. As we know, there are two different types of nitrogen bases, purines and pyrimidines. Purines are adenine, guanine, pyrimidines are cytosine, thymine and uracil. These nitrogen bases linked with pentose sugar. The pentose sugar is going to link with nitrogen bases with the help of an bond called N-glycosidic linkage. N-glycosidic linkage. This gives a product called nucleoside. The nucleoside is the fusion of pentose sugar and one of the nitrogen base with the help of N-glycosidic linkage. As we know, in DNA we have four nitrogen bases, that is adenine, guanine, cytosine and thymine. Each of the nitrogen base link with one pentose sugar to form respective nucleoside. The nucleosides of DNA, are adenine linking with pentose sugar with N-glycosidic linkage called deoxyadenosine, or just an adenosine, as it is derived from pentose sugar which is having one less oxygen. It is called deoxyadenosine. Similarly, guanine of DNA linking with another pentose sugar to form deoxyguanosine or guanosine. Similar to that, cytosine linking with one pentose sugar with N-glycosidic linkage, resulting in the formation of deoxycytidine or cytidine. Similarly, as we know, the DNA contains thymine. The thymine is linking with one of the pentose sugar to form deoxythymidine or just thymidine. These are the four different nucleosides of DNA present, and this has been asked for 2 marks in repeated times in the previous examinations. Mention the nucleosides of DNA: deoxyadenosine, deoxyguanosine, deoxycytidine, deoxythymidine. Each of this nucleoside will going to link with one phosphoric acid to form the product called nucleotide. As we know, there are 4 nucleosides of DNA: deoxyadenosine, deoxyguanosine, deoxycytidine, and deoxythymidine. Similarly, we have 4 nucleosides in RNA, where one oxygen is excess at second carbon position, giving adenosine, guanosine, cytidine, and thymidine. I hope you know very well. Deoxy, because it is one oxygen is less in DNA, and the normal pentose sugar is forming one nucleoside called adenosine. In RNA, guanosine, cytidine, and uridine. Each of this nucleoside linked with one phosphate. Let me derive here. Each of this nucleoside, as we know, pentose sugar is going to link with one nitrogen base like adenine with the help of a bond called N-glycosidic linkage. N-glycosidic linkage. Each of this nucleoside link with one phosphate with the help of a bond called phosphoester bond. Results, it will form a product called nucleotide. Here it will link with one phosphate. This bond is called phosphoester bond, which links to form a product called nucleotide. Such type of nucleotides are repeatedly linked with each other with the help of corresponding phosphoester bond between the two nucleotides, forming a bond called phosphodiester bond, which forms two nucleotide chain. Like that, several nucleotides are going to link with each other to form a long chain of nucleotide called polynucleotide chain. We'll see here the pentose sugar linking with one nitrogen base with the help of a bond called N-glycosidic linkage. Results, it will form one nucleoside. Later, this nucleoside linking with one phosphate to form a product called nucleotide. See, the bond between the two nucleosides, this is one nucleoside, this is another nucleoside. Between the two nucleosides, the bond which is connecting the nucleoside is called phosphodiester bond, because it is connecting two nucleotides. So the phosphate is going to link with the bond called phosphoester bond, resulting in the formation of a chain of two nucleotides, and this bond is called phosphodiester bond. Like that, further one more nucleotide linked with the previous nucleoside with the help of similar type of phosphodiester bond, and resulting it will form a long chain of polynucleotide, and this polynucleotide chain is showing the series of pentose sugar as well as the phosphate acting as a backbone of the DNA, whereas the nitrogen bases are projecting towards the inner side, and these nitrogen bases are approximately 3.3 into 10 to the power of 9 base pairs are present in case of human beings. So many nitrogen bases are going to link with that many number of pentose sugar and phosphate to form a long chain of nucleotide called polynucleotide chain, and this polynucleotide chain showing two ends. One is the hydroxyl end and another is called phosphate end. The end at 5 prime and 3 prime end. The 5 prime end is ended with phosphate and the 3 prime end is ending with an hydroxyl group. It is called 5 prime to 3 prime. It shows the polarity from 5 prime to 3 prime, and such type of long chain of nucleotides are found in DNA. In DNA, approximately 3.3 into 10 to the power of 9 base pairs are present in human beings. So almost 3.3 into 10 to the power of 9 base pairs linking with so many number of pentose sugar and phosphate to form a long chain called polynucleotide chain. And in this chain, the pentose sugar and phosphate is acting as an backbone of nucleic acid called DNA, whereas nitrogen bases are projecting towards the center. And in case of DNA, such type of two polynucleotide chains are found in case of DNA. DNA possesses two polynucleotide chain, and these two chains are always going to link with each other with the help of nitrogen bases, where always adenine links with thymine of another chain or opposite chain with the help of two weak hydrogen bonds, whereas cytosine links with guanine with 3 hydrogen bond, and this pairing is called complementary base pairing, which results in the formation of two polynucleotide chains are going to link with each other to form double helical structure. It is observed that DNA is made up of such type of two polynucleotide chains, and each chain, which is made up of several nucleotides, linking with its corresponding chain with the help of nitrogen bases, where always adenine is going to link with thymine of opposite chain and guanine links with cytosine with the 3 hydrogen bond of opposite chain, and this forms an two chains of nucleotide. And in a DNA we have such two polynucleotide chain that we can discuss in the next topic called double helix model of DNA, which was proposed by Crick and Watson. Double helix model of DNA. This was proposed by Watson and Crick, commonly called as a Crick and Watson model. This is one of the famous model of DNA proposed by Watson and Crick with the help of X-ray diffraction by Wilkins and Franklin. And this model was one of the most accepted model, and it fetches a Nobel Prize to Watson and Crick. And this model says that the DNA is made up of two chains of nucleotide, what we have discussed in the previous concept. The two polynucleotide chain which are going to held with each other with the help of hydrogen bond between the nitrogen bases. So the two chains of nucleotide resembles spiral staircase. According to this model by Watson and Crick, the two polynucleotide chain are going to held with the help of hydrogen bond, and they are right-handedly turned. right-handedly turn, resembles spiral staircase, and because of this, it was giving a right-handed twist or oriented passion structure, resembles spiral staircase. According to Watson and Crick, the DNA is having the two strands of nucleotide, or what we call as a two polynucleotide chain, which are going to link with the help of the nitrogen bases. There are a number of salient features which have been explained by Watson and Crick. The features are, it consists of, firstly, it consists of two polynucleotide chains. That is the first feature. The DNA is made up of two polynucleotide chain. This is one chain which is running in one end, that is 5 prime to 3 prime. The other one is running in an opposite direction, that is 5 prime to 3 prime direction. Always it show in two opposite direction, 5 prime to 3 prime, 5 prime to 3 prime direction. So this is one of the major feature. What they explain is that it is made up of two polynucleotide chain. Secondly, it shows the anti-parallel polarity. That means the two chains of nucleotide which are linked with each other with the help of hydrogen bond, they are running in two opposite directions, or showing two different opposite polarity. One chain is running in 5 prime to 3 prime direction, whereas the other one is running in an opposite direction of the previous one, running in 5 to 3 prime again, but in an opposite direction. That's why they are called as an anti-parallel, where one is running in 5 prime to 3 prime direction. The other one is also running in 5 to 3 prime, but in an opposite direction. So that chain is also running in 5 to 3 prime direction. We can see in the polarity here, one is running in 5 prime to 3 prime, the opposite one is running in 5 prime to 3 prime direction. So this is called anti-parallel polarity, the second most important feature. Now the third very important feature about this model is, it show complementary base pairing. It is showing complementary base pairing, where always the purine combines with pyrimidines. As we know, purines are of two different types, adenine and guanine. Similarly, the pyrimidines are of two different types, where here always adenine is going to link with thymine, or thymine linking with adenine with the help of two hydrogen bonds. Always adenine links with thymine, or thymine links with adenine with two hydrogen bond. Similarly, guanine linking with cytosine with 3 hydrogen bond, or cytosine is linking with guanine with 3 hydrogen bond. So this pairing by hydrogen bond is called complementary base pairing. Because of this complementary base pairing, the ratio of purine and pyrimidine is always 1:1. That means the number of purine is equal to the number of pyrimidines. That is nothing but the purines are A plus G is equal to the number of cytosine plus thymine. So it shows 1:1 ratio. It was very clearly observed or explained by Irwin Chargaff, who explained about the base equivalence rule, saying that the amount of purine is equal to the amount of pyrimidine obeying Chargaff's rule, showing 1:1 ratio. That is one of the most important feature of DNA, which is found only in DNA, and this complementary base pairing is absent in case of RNA. Third point, which has been explained, that the nitrogen bases which has been found towards the inner side, whereas the pentose sugar and the phosphate is acting as in backbone in 2 polynucleotide chain. The nitrogen bases are found at a distance of 0.34 nanometer. That is between one pair of nitrogen bases and another pair, the distance is 0.34 nanometer, and this is the complementary base pairing. So 0.34 nanometer. Because of the bonding, like glycosidic linkage and phosphodiester bond, it will make a right hand twist to form an helix. One helix is having approximately 10 nitrogen bases. Approximately 10 nitrogen bases are present in one complete turn, or what we call helix. In one right turn, complete right-handed turn, or one helix, approximately 10 nitrogen bases are found, and the length of one helix is 0.34 into 10, that is nothing but 3.4 nanometer is the length of one helix. Like that, several helix will form, which are go on running in an right-handed passion turn in a DNA, forming the 2 strands of nucleotide, making an twist, looks like a spiral staircase running in 2 opposite directions. Along with that, the stacking of the next point, another feature is the stacking of one nitrogen base with another base pair is arranged in such a manner that it is having an exact distance, as well as the hydrogen bond gives the stability to form a stable form of nitrogen base pairs arranged one over the other. That is the stability by means of an hydrogen bond. So because of that, the DNA is called as a most stable molecule, genetic material present in an organisms. So this model we is expecting for 5 marks with the salient features. So explain the structure of double helix model. The diagram carries 2 marks. You should show the diagram in such a manner that the 2 strands are running in anti-parallel direction, running in 2 opposite direction with an continuous nitrogen base pairs and showing one helix. So this diagram is only for the reference. This is not needed for the examination, but this particular part of the diagram is needed with salient features for 5 marks. So that is what we called the double helix model of DNA proposed by Crick and Watson along with Wilkins and Franklin. Along with the same model, the Crick explained about the central dogma. This is another very important concept. Remember, DNA is acting as a genetic material in most of the organism, which is regulating the functions of protein synthesis inside the cell. As we know, DNA is present inside the nucleus in almost all the eukaryotic cell. Few traces of DNA is present in the cytoplasm, like you have studied in first year PUC, the cell biology. Some traces of DNA is present in mitochondria. Some traces of DNA is present in chloroplast also. But major part of the DNA is present inside the nucleus. This nucleus, which is having a major part of the DNA, which is regulating the functions of protein synthesis in the cytoplasm. In the cytoplasm, we have the number of cell organelles like ribosome, mitochondria, chloroplast, and other number of several organelles present inside the cell. It is the DNA which is present inside the nucleus passes its information for the process of protein synthesis with the help of an RNA called messenger RNA. And the process where the information is passes from DNA to RNA is called transcription, and the transcription takes place within the nucleus, where the information is passes from DNA to RNA. The information passing from DNA to RNA. Now this information which is present in RNA is passed from nucleus to the cytoplasm. While it reaches to the cytoplasm, in the cytoplasm the major event of protein synthesis called translation takes place. Translation results in the formation of a protein, or what we call protein synthesis. Protein synthesis is going to be regulated by RNA. So this is called central dogma of protein synthesis, where information passes from DNA to RNA, RNA to protein synthesis. So the whole process of protein synthesis is under the influence or under the guidance of DNA with the help of an RNA called messenger RNA, tRNA, rRNA. All these things we'll discuss in the future classes. So whatever the information present in a DNA is passes to RNA, and that process of transferring the information from DNA to RNA is called transcription. Later, that information present in an RNA passes to the cytoplasm and results in the protein synthesis, and that process is called translation. As a result of this translation, the protein which is synthesized, that will be playing an important role for metabolic activities of cell, which is going to be carried out in the presence of various types of proteins. Whereas in some viruses, the process will be reversed. As I mentioned in the beginning, most of the viruses are having RNA as their genetic material. In case of virus, like example HIV virus, as virus enter inside the host, by using the RNA of the virus, the RNA will going to synthesize as DNA, reverse process, reverse of this. So instead of DNA, here RNA is present in a virus, and that RNA will involve in a synthesis of DNA called viral DNA, and that is carried out in the presence of enzymes called reverse transcriptase enzymes, and these reverse transcriptase enzymes are playing an important role for the process called reverse transcription. The reverse transcription is the event which will going to take place in RNA viruses. RNA is the genetic material in the viruses which involves in the synthesis of DNA. That is called central dogma. This central dogma has been explained by the Crick, resulting in the synthesis of protein under the influence of DNA. So with this, I'll stop today. Hope we'll meet again in the same type of virtual classes to deal further about how this DNA is packed inside the cell, that is inside the nucleus, and how it will work, and how it will be tightly packed inside the nucleus, and what are the different features of the genetic material, and why the DNA only is called as in genetic material, why not the protein, why not the other things called as in genetic material. All these things we'll discuss in the next class. Stay safe, stay home. Thank you.